and then I'm trying to remember how to do this here. So we're recording now, and there's chats. Is anybody in chat? Doesn't look like it. And oh, there is a chat here.
Oh, Professor Allison has, Allison's trying to talk to you in chat.
Yeah, I've got it up here right now. So she typed in the wrong email the first time, and it wouldn't let me change the email. So she had to make another account. Okay, so you didn't potentially put in the wrong email, did you?
Me?
Yeah, if you didn't get
No.
anything back, you didn't do that, right?
No, I put in the right email.
Okay. That's odd. Okay, so I'm trying to remember how to share my screen here again with you guys. There it is. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Allison, do you have ZBrush working now? Okay, cool. All right, and then other than Jordan, is anybody else having technical issues getting ZBrush to work?
So we are good with like downloading it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that the Z tool that you made for us can't be opened through our ZBrush. It says that there's an error with loading the tool.
Oh, because it's a later one. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I have 2018 somewhere. Well, essentially what that is, it's just you guys can actually make it yourself inside of ZBrush. So let me turn this one off here. I saw somebody working in a block out here. Sarah? Did you get this to work?
Yeah, I think I couldn't get the block start thing to work. I just kind of started trying to make
Use
the shape of
spheres.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because I also tried doing it and it said that it aborted the tool, like it couldn't open it.
Yeah, I guess because I made it in a later version, it's not backwards compatible. Do you know what kind of spheres you were making this from? Because there's two different kinds in there. There's ones that have the poles on the top and the bottom, the triangles, and then there's ones that there's one that's been quadded for you. So it's all four-sided polygons. And that's what I gave you guys to just avoid this step. I can show you guys how to make that.
I'm not sure. I think I think I just clicked one of the spheres.
Okay.
But I can redo it if I have to.
Okay. Something's going on here with my computer. It keeps launching.
Wait, Professor, I have ZBrush 2019 and the tool worked for me fine.
Oh, it did. So it was backwards compatible for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2019 though.
Okay. Is that a student one or a purchased one?
It's
like the professional level one, or?
Yeah, it's purchased.
Okay. I think, don't they have monthly subscriptions now like everybody else? Is anybody doing that?
They do. It's like $40 a month.
Okay.
That's deep.
Yeah, it is. I wish they would do something for you guys where it was free and current, not 2 iterations ago. All right. So essentially what it is, it's this polysphere right here. So you can click on that and bring that into your scene. And then let me get rid of my brushes here. And then in your, actually there it is in the subtool. Under geometry, see how it's been subdivided here? Take the subdivisions down to 1. And this is essentially what I gave you guys. So see how it doesn't have any poles on it? This is what you want to work with. So by comparison, I can bring in one of the others and show it to you. And why it's clicking off here. There we go. So like the sphere 3D, if you started with that and you bring that in and you look at the difference here. And I turn on this. So see how it's got the poles on the top? This will not subdivide very well. Okay, so that's the difference. You want to start with this one right here.
Carol, I'm having another problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's so I made my UI, I uploaded it for you, and then like I closed ZBrush when I reopened it to work on my project again.
Mm-hmm.
The UI wasn't there, so I tried loading it, and like it just won't load at all. I think it's too much for my computer.
But the regular one is loading, correct? The
Yeah,
default?
like it's working, and my projects are saving, and I can open them, but I just can't load my own UI anymore.
It shouldn't be any different.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but I don't know why.
Maybe just try, oh, I heard a kitty.
Yeah, it's my cat.
Aw. Maybe try just making another one that's got just a couple changes on it, save it, and then load it up again and see if
Okay.
you have any success with that,
Okay, I can do that.
just to test it out. All right. So is everybody able to, create one of these in here in the event that you can't upload the one that I gave you? And see the difference between them.
I'm sorry, how exactly did you create it?
Well, first I just want to show you guys the difference between the 2 spheres. So this one here is a sphere 3D. So you can append, which is adding to your scene right here through as a subtool. So like the sphere, 3D sphere is this one right here. It's similar to what you would get in Maya, where it's got the poles on the top and the bottom. So it comes into these triangles. And then when you try to subdivide it, it kind of just keeps making more subdivisions like that. So it doesn't work well when you start sculpting on something like this. You want to have quads. Okay, and then over here, this is the polysphere. And it's 4-sided. So it's like taking a cube and then smoothing it is, essentially what is happening here. And you can also do that in Maya. Like if you're over here in Maya and you just brought a cube in here, and I've got my grid off. So if you do this and then you smooth it right here, and then I hit 3, and then I take this up a few more times, that's essentially what it is right there. Okay, so that's actually, I'm on 1 right now. And you can take this and maybe bring it up like that, and then export this. We'll call it poly blockout. So as an OBJ, and I'll drop this on my desktop. And let me see if I could load it up in here. Right, so in the case of that, how you would bring that in, I'm going to just clear this. You would say import under tools here. And grab that. And then just draw it out. Actually, it drug in my other stuff here too that I had going on. Yeah, it's still grabbing my other stuff in my scene. So let me just shut this down here. Does anybody want to try bringing this in to see if that works? It would just replace the ZTL file, bring that in, and then you would just start the process of duplicating that and using it to shape. How's my microphone over there? Is it choppy or is it recording okay?
You sound perfect on my end.
Okay. When I use this one to record videos, it I sound like Darth Vader. It's like, you know, and so I didn't know if it was doing that over the recording of this. Okay, let's do that. And then close that. Import. All right, so there it is. So that's pretty much what I just gave you guys. Same thing. So it's just a low poly sphere, and then from here in your subtools, you can change the material on it. Go to something like that, and then you can start duplicating it. And then in terms of the floor, let's see where it is. So it did come in on the floor right here, and it doesn't look like a perfect sphere to me. Looks a little off.
It looks like it maintained a bit of that squareness.
Yeah, sure does, which may actually help us in shaping stuff. Yeah, so you can do it this way. The one that I brought in or created inside here, if you go under your light box, you can slide across here like this. So you want to look for the polysphere, ZPR. So this is a project. And double click on that. And then it's going to clear out everything in here, right there. And so with this one, it's been subdivided. So you just want to take those subdivisions out. So if I turn on this here, you can see that it's been subdivided a couple times. So under geometry, the subdivision level up here is at 3. So just slide it back down to 1. You want to work at a really low subdivision level. the lowest subdivision level. And let me find my email and turn it off. Trying to get it to be quiet here. Maybe I'll just click out of it. Okay. All right. Okay, so does that make sense? Does everybody kind of see what we're starting with here? So yeah, this is a much cleaner looking sphere. And then you can start duplicating that. So leave your original one here and then start to duplicate it. And then usually as you duplicate, one will shut off. Actually, that one stayed on. You can turn it off. Okay, and then start your process. Okay. And when I use shift and I snap to the front or the side here, usually I want to turn my perspective off so that it's flat so I can get a little bit better sense of scale and placement. So starting with the head and then just duplicating it and then moving it down. Okay. So is that working for everyone?
Yeah, I just made mine in ZBrush the way that you just did.
With this right here, this method?
Yeah, with the sphere and just putting the subdivisions down.
Okay.
Carol, when you made the sphere in Maya, where did you save the OBJ?
It is out on, I put it into Shotgun right here. Are you guys able to download that?
Oh, you just threw it in there. Okay.
Yeah, I threw it in there, but it did retain some of the squareness from the cube. So it doesn't look perfectly round. So depending on your character, it may or may not help you.
Let me try to download it.
All right, so it looks like you guys added some new ones in here. I was checking them out last night. Let's see, we went over yours already, Mia, Chris.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could do a reptilian character or if I would have to go to a human character.
I mean, it's more work.
Hmm.
Allison's doing something like this too, so you guys might want to, share tips and stuff in terms of like getting the tail in there. You can also model parts of it or a basic block out inside of Maya if you want to do that too. Another thing that might be helpful, I don't know if this thing works for me. It doesn't like my Cintiq usually, is, let's see if I can, yeah, it won't accept my Cintiq. So then I use a mouse and it looks really bad. So you might want to like draw out where the spheres would go on the character. Like that would be the shoulder. This would be the elongated sphere.
Hmm.
Just like kind of do a little draw over on this. And then with the tail, you would probably just, have it more straight out. Like don't pose it yet. Maybe
Hmm.
just have it do this instead of like going, like that or wrapping around, because you can do that kind of posing after you're done modeling, but you'll want it to be just straight out behind the character to start with.
Hmm.
Okay. And then are you going to do all the toes and stuff here too? Because that's, again, more work. Like hands and feet take quite a while, and faces.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I can, or I could maybe just give him some boots or something.
Yeah, either some boots or trying to see this guy's foot here. Well, they all kind of had toenails and stuff on them.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe boots might be a little easier. Yeah, I think it'll be okay, and then you've got all the teeth and stuff to put in here too. I don't know if you're going to like close the mouth and just have a couple little teeth sticking out. I would recommend doing that over having an open mouth with the whole interior to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then are you planning on a lot of armor on him, or?
No, probably not.
Okay, like I like
Probably,
this one, like it's
yeah.
got the one little, strap right here. The little shoulder pad is kind of cool.
Yeah, I was thinking of like an amalgamation of the guy with the open mouth and the armor of the crocodile.
This one here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. Okay, yeah, I think that looks really good.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, and this is a update here, Trinity.
Yeah, I made sure like the arm length was fixed. Like it was much. I saw it. It was way shorter than
Yeah.
it was. I was like, oh, and now it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I fixed some of her leg length as well.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, the feet could probably be in closer, like maybe this far apart.
Yeah.
So you can probably just do like a cut and paste in Photoshop or something and just turn those in a little bit, but that all looks good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and interface. Cool, I love these characters.
So I uploaded one with some of my notes in a clean version. I don't know if that would help to see.
What was that? You have another version? This one?
Yeah, I have one with like the drawing stuff on it that I kind of liked. I just uploaded two so you can see it better without the lines.
Okay. Yeah, I think any of these are great. The guy who I was going to bring into class, Chris Gonzalez, he did this character.
Oh, really?
Probably find it online. Yeah, he did it after he graduated, not while he was here, but he did a great job of matching it. So you'll probably find that online if you look that up. But I mean, all of these are great characters. Just whichever one you want to go with. I kind of like this guy here. He's
yeah, my only concern though was like on one of his, not the one with the axe, but there's a lot of like metal work by his hand. I don't know, that would like clash with sculpting or something. Can't really
this stuff
see.
here.
The other one, the other hand.
This one here.
Yeah.
That's all added on separate. So we're going to model the character without any clothes on, and then we go in and add all the clothing afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then pieces like this, you can actually just make them inside of Maya and then import them in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can make them real low poly and then bring them into ZBrush and then do the sculpting on here or the painting, because some of this could just be painted on right here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got great features though. Yes, that's see if he'll come up here. No. I know he was interviewed on CGMA. Maybe I spelled his name wrong.
Was that the one that you mentioned on Instagram?
Yeah, so
his username is Christian.
Oh, it's Christian, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's still not coming up here. He's on. Oh, here's somebody else that looks like they've done it.
Oh, hey.
Or is working on it.
Okay, then maybe not do that one.
Well, this is a different one. So looks like somebody else is also doing it. Done some other stuff. Yeah, so
Okay,
here's
looks
another
good.
one that you can take a look at.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. They've got the whole turnaround there. Yeah, so somewhere he's on ArtStation. There he is. Yeah, so that's what he did.
Okay.
That's the concept, and then that's the concept, and then this is his 3D. Okay. Let's see. Summer classes, if you guys are considering any of that. I don't know if you've saw the schedule yet, but there it is. And then I'm not sure about the internships. I think they're getting canceled as far as like the overseas one. I think I saw something about that. Okay. I was doing some advising for someone else.
Carol, you know how like some people got in what's it called? They got into the BFA program. How long would it take for them to show on their like to be admitted into it so they can sign up for classes?
I think Andy sent out the emails yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah, I got mine there.
Okay. Then I think it's going to take, I mean, I don't know right now because people are working remotely. But usually it should be done before you guys sign up for classes. That was the whole idea of us getting it done early, is so you guys could have access to the classes that you need.
Yeah, because I'm part of the honors program and I'm signing up for the classes on the 20th.
Okay. Can you just send me a reminder via email, and then I'll
Oh,
check
yeah.
in with Andy about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right, and then Wendy, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Any preferences for these? These are all great. I actually really like this little character here. She's cute. Are you leaning towards any one of these? Is your audio working? I think maybe, did you cut out?
She says her internet is unstable.
Okay, all right. So then I'll make a note here. I think all of these are fine.
But if you look at the chat, you'll be able to see what she says.
Okay. Yeah, I'm watching it right here. So I think the female character is probably the easier one to do, just in terms of how much work. I think also this character here too is definitely doable. This guy here is getting into, he's got a lot of costume details on him. So it's just whether or not you're going to have the time to do that. This is also a really nice character. I think I've seen him in 3D already, so you could reference that. This guy, it's almost like doing a second character with the octopus on the head. So you have to kind of decide if that's something that you want to do there. So, I mean, for my choices, I think the female character here is really good. This kind of more cartoony character here as well. And then maybe the boy here in the middle. Okay. No, we don't have to do props with these, but we are doing costuming. So if you kind of look at how much costuming is on here, and then the spiky hair and stuff too. So just kind of planning for that. But you would not have to do the props. Okay, and all right. Noah, are you here? Okay, I don't think he's here. So, female character, like her a lot. I think this would be a good one to focus on. This character's got just a lot going on with it in terms of the anatomy and also costuming. So this would be a pretty heavy project to take on. This character right here would be also real doable for class. Okay, so I'll make some notes out on shotgun as well. All right, and then Kimberly.
Here.
Okay, is this a revision to a previous one? Or?
I just decided to pick someone else's character. I didn't do my own character anymore.
Oh, okay. So which one are you thinking?
Oh, 1 and 2. One of those.
These two here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was drawn to this one right away.
Mm-hmm. I just didn't know if it would be like too simple.
I don't think so. No, these are not simple. I mean, some of the simple looking characters are not that simple to sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what her eyes would look like? Are they going to be more cartoony like this or more in this kind of vein?
I was thinking more the eyes are gonna be like the third one.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet. I'll probably just like mess around with the idea.
Okay. I mean, this one's got a lot more detail in terms of the costume. She's also got the nails and stuff that you'd have to model on there, the ears. Yeah, so just kind of taking that into consideration. In some ways, they have really similar shaped faces. So it's kind of nice that you can sort of see it from this angle as well. So, I mean, I would go with this one. I think this one's probably easier to do. And then you can kind of mix it up too if you want to put leggings on or, you know, simplify the boots or something. You can probably do a combination.
Okay.
All right. So you did a revision on yours, Elizabeth?
Oh yeah, so you said to like work on her a little more, so I went ahead and did a revision on her, and I gave her like a shirt under that's poking out from her sweater.
Okay.
For a bit more detail.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, you've changed her proportions too.
Yeah, I went ahead and I think I made her legs a bit longer, and like I like made her boots bigger for more stylization.
So just like little details like her legs, the shapes of her legs, like the lower part is working with the upper part. See how it's kind of like curving this way? It should curve more like this, outward.
Okay.
So just, you know, try to do, I can't draw with this mouse. Do something more like this, and then you can push the start of that back. It's a totally straight line there. Yeah, I can't draw with this. I could probably do a draw over it, but you know, looking at this is maybe a little bit too much here on this character's legs. But you see how there's curvature in this direction here, and then the knee, and then it's straight here. Okay, where yours are kind of curving in this way. I'm sort of exaggerating. They really need to be curving the opposite direction.
Okay.
Okay. And then any way to, these still are rating kind of flat and two-dimensional. If there's any way for you to kind of draw these at a different angle to try to get a little bit more sense of the form on them.
Okay. Yeah.
And in some ways I like the simplicity on some of the designs up here with the hat and stuff. So this might be getting a little too detailed.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think that's good. She looks a little older. It looks like, elementary school to like, junior high here. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your intention.
Well, I mean, she's a junior high student, so it actually works.
Oh, okay, she is. Yeah, well
Uh-huh.
then that makes sense because this is really looking more like, third or fourth
Yeah.
grade or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but take a look at, can't get this to move here. Here we go. Just the legs on this character.
Yeah.
And then even just some of the simpler lines here for the face. And
Uh-huh.
you're going to go more for these kind of stylized eyes. Is that what you're going to do?
I can't see your mouse.
Oh, I'm just kind of like circling
Oh,
the
yeah.
eyes here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and then maybe you can do like even one little other thing, which, you could put like a sock or something, around here, like a little sock that's sort of falling inside. Maybe it doesn't show
Yeah.
on the other. Like you could just kind of change it up a little, doing
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, cool. All right, and so this is the one that wouldn't load back up.
Yeah.
It's really strange. All right. Are you here today?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you thinking? This is a great character right here. Really like that one.
I I think the bottom one will be easier compared to the one on the top, those
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of detail here.
yeah, but I was thinking if I was thinking doing something challenging, but I'm not sure if we will have enough time to do it. So I was still like thinking about it, and so I uploaded it and wait for your feedback.
I mean, I like this character right here a lot, especially just the hat and everything. But yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, maybe you can do a more stylized version of this, like bring it down to more of a 4 or something. This is pushing up like higher into like a 6 or 7, more of a game character, where this is more of a animation character here.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of leave it up to you if you want to try to work with something like this and then maybe kind of bring down the amount of detail on it and just simplify it. So it probably required you doing some drawing on it or looking for a character kind of like this that doesn't have as much detail on it.
Okay.
Okay. Or, I mean, I think both of these are going to be challenging. Female characters are actually a little bit harder to do than male characters. They're less forgiving. Like you have to hit the curves really right on them, or it becomes obvious that it's not working. And they have to be smooth and pretty precise, whereas male characters, you can kind of get different angles with their anatomy and carve into them or have harsher angles, and it's more acceptable, I guess. So, you know, think about that. She's got really like clean curves here. And then I don't know, like, I guess this is like fishnet stockings on here. I'm not sure. You'd probably not be able to do that in class unless we did it through a texture or something. We could figure out how to get that on there. But she probably has almost the same amount of work as this character here, with all of her costumes, pieces and stuff draping on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me look at these here. Like it's, if I can see the detail any better. Yeah, so the pants are pretty easy. I mean, this is just copying, extracting off of the character's body and then coming in and sculpting some of the details for the folds.
Uh-huh.
Same thing with the boots, like they're all form-fitting to her original anatomy. Same thing with the bra. So it would just be making this cloak right here, and then this hat would be pretty easy to make in either ZBrush or Maya. You can make that.
Okay.
So this may actually be the easier character to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Get out of that. And all right. So just the one character? Is that all you have here? Is this your character?
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, uploaded here?
Yeah.
This one here? And that's it? Just those two?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. That's a nice character. Yeah, and this is kind of how we work in stages in ZBrush. So it'd be the character's body first, and then you'd put the costume on, which is form-fitting here. So it would just be getting in some of the details, like the shoes, painting it, and then adding these pieces on here. Is she gonna wear like a little bubble, glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think this would be a great character to do. Yeah, this is also a nice character. So probably about the same amount of work. Just a little bit more, you know, time spent on the hair. So do you have a preference for which one?
I like the top one, the green one.
This one here? Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think this would be a great character to do. Cool. Yeah, this is really nice with the straight line here and then the curves on this side. And you're duplicating that down here on the leg. Yeah, and a really good expression. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
cool.
you.
And Allison. Awesome. So is it going to be this one down here or this up here? I think you're typing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most likely the third one. So number 3. Yeah, this is really cute. I love this. Yeah, so definitely doable here. All right. And is that it? Did I miss anybody?
Well, actually, I do have one, but the only problem is it's not done, and I didn't know were supposed to do more than one. It's all the way down, and I was gonna.
Yeah, I made notes on it last night to
yeah, it's
you
like
know, to follow the project. Yeah, to you know, watch the video, choose the concepts that are done, and then.
I have watched the video. I'm just saying, I was just asking you that there was a due date, and are you going to grade it on that due date, or is it like one of those things like you just have to turn in before the deadline? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm giving you guys, I'm not grading every time you turn something in. It's just more to keep you on track so you're not falling behind.
Okay.
But the grade will be on the overall character. So I'm not going to grade every week. At least I'm not planning on doing that.
Okay, so can we turn it in any time as long as we do it as quickly as we can?
Well, you need to have it done before you start modeling. And you want to start modeling as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will fall behind.
Yeah, as long as we do it quickly. Is that okay?
Yes. So I would try to, work through, instead of your own character, I think you need to go out and look online at some different characters that are in. I would really kind of stay away from any anime style, like explicit anime style. And so is this kind of like, what kind of a character is this? Like, is it?
Oh, he's a knight. I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done with him. I just threw something in because I got scared because I saw the deadline and I didn't want to be. I just didn't want to be March. You know what I mean? So I'll still work on him, and I'll probably do him over the weekend.
Okay, but I want you to do the exercise of looking at the other, like what everybody else is doing here. Going out, I'll find one that's.
Oh, do you want other references on other websites too?
Yes.
Okay, I'll post them there.
Yeah, so I want you to put it together like this on a page, and then I want you to use the language that I gave you in Titanium, as well as the video I did.
Okay.
Talking about, the different qualities using that language, and then choose one of those. So I think it's better that you look for concept art instead of working on a design. We don't really have time to flush out designs in here unless you've already got one that's done. And the students that did have some that were done, had them done much earlier in class. So at this point right now, there's really not time for you to sit down and work through a design. So I would try to, choose something in that style that you're working with. Like even this character right here is, kind of close to that, or a male character.
Okay, so you're saying pick a design and then go and just copy him. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're not really designing characters in here. We're doing character modeling. So I've allowing a few students in here to do their own character design who showed me stuff early on, like Elizabeth, and Mia's doing her character here. But this character's she did go and look at other references here, and then did a full turnaround on her character. But she came into class with this done already. So she didn't work on this in class. So over in Titanium, I gave you guys, here we are, the character concepts right here. So you have a whole bunch to choose from.
Okay, so you want me to pick out a design in, yeah, is that correct?
I want you to, follow the instructions in the video and out on Titanium and work through that exercise.
Okay.
Okay. All right, did anybody else upload? Or is that it? I think we're done here with overviews on this stuff. So let's see. What would you guys like to focus on next in terms of like ZBrush, or because it doesn't, other than Sarah doing this right here, I don't see that any of you guys have progressed into actually starting the blockouts on your characters.
I didn't start my blockout because I wasn't sure if I could do the reptilian animals, but now that I know, I'd like to see how to do the hands maybe.
The hands? Let's see.
Hey, Professor Carol, real quick.
Uh-huh.
Where are we supposed to put the 3D startup files?
As far as like the location in for ZBrush to find them?
Yeah, yeah.
Are
Like
you on
after we
a?
download them. I'm on a PC.
Oh, okay, then that's easier for me to explain. So just go to your program files here into the Pixel Logic folder. Look, I do have this. So I thought I had an old one here. So I can probably do some stuff in there. So ZBrush, and then there's Z Startup. And then the materials, I gave you guys that ZBro paint.zmt. So that goes in here. Your user interface layout can go in here. The user interface colors, if you change any of the colors, that's like these colors out here, like the purple that I put on mine, can go here. And then brushes, brush presets are in here. Like I gave you guys these right here. Like these are, this clay fill is like a lifesaver for character modeling. It fills in all the little dents and stuff and smooths everything out without losing detail. And I gave you, did I give you guys some of these right here, the 3D character workshop ones? I think I gave you those, right?
Yeah, yeah, you did. Those are the ones I'm trying to figure out where to put them. Do I just put them in the brush presets or?
Yeah, brush presets, and then once you're out here, you should be able to go in here and find them. Yeah, so they have different names on them, but you'll see them by their thing here. So I don't know if you can type in a wild card. Yeah, they're pretty easily recognized here. And a lot of them will do a similar thing, like the inflate here is just a little bit cleaner inflate than, where is it? Like this inflate right here. Okay. All right, so for a hand, so there's lots of different ways to do hands. One of the things that you want to look at is in your character's design, if it's leaning more towards the upper scale and it's got noticeable joints that you would have in a real hand. So down the finger, you would have the joint here up at the top, a joint here, and then the third joint down here towards the fingernail. That's kind of the first thing you want to decide is how many joints you're going to have in the finger, because stylized, you can actually go down to just the one main joint in the finger. So one major bend, and then the tip of the finger, you can just kind of bulge it out a little bit at the end, but it doesn't necessarily have a joint down there. So that's sort of the first thing that you want to do. And then kind of deciding how, probably start it from here. How you want to model that out. So you can model it in here using the same approach, or you can also model it over in Zebra and Maya and bring it in, and then attach it to your character using Dynamesh. It's just sort of whichever way you feel more comfortable. So I'm going to actually delete some of these and delete that one and start here. So usually like the first way of starting would be creating the palm. And there's different ways to go about doing this. You can try sculpting it, or you can use one of the trim brushes here, like trim curve, and then come in here and just lost it here. There it is. So you can hold down Control Shift, and then you can drag across here, and it's the side that has the gradation on it. So you can see it across there. That's what's gonna, you have to freeze or delete the subdivisions on there. So let me do that first. So under here, you want to make sure that you're getting rid of the subdivisions on there. So I can start like this, and if I drag in this direction, then it will start over here. Do the same thing. And then I'll usually leave like the roundness right there. So it's doing, take that off there. And then coming back in here, and you can start rounding off some of the corners. So actually, let me get my interface loaded. And I think it's right there. So you can also just keep that in your project folder too. Okay, so you can smooth this down. So I'm just holding down the Shift key to do that. And sometimes this gets a little messy here. So I'm going to just do this a little. And then I think what I'll do is go ahead and do a Z-remesher. So Z-remesher is going to just redo, show you what that looks like. So see how it's all kind of messed up over here where I made the cuts? So if you do Z-remesher, and you can take your target down kind of low like this, and then run that, and see how it redoes the topology on there, cleans it up. And then it's a lot easier to go in and do something. I'm missing one of my tools here. I am, so I think maybe I loaded the wrong one up. Let me go back to here. There we go. Actually, no, that looks the same. Lost some of my tools here for some reason. Okay, so sometimes I'll just run this over here a little bit and clean it up. And I usually don't like this on when I'm working. So you can see it's still really low poly right now. But I'll try to, round something out a little bit like this. And all right, so starting out, getting the base like this, okay? And then from here, I'll start working on fingers. So I'll go back to my subtools, and With this one, I'm going to just go ahead and, actually, I don't think I'd need to delete, so deleting the lower divisions on there. And then once I get a shape that I like, I will start, got symmetry on here, so I'm going to just turn that off. And not sure why the thing is over here. Sometimes this like pops off over to the other side, and you can just hit this little locator right here, and it will go back to where it needs to be.
How do you get that thing where you can move around the tool like that and rotate it?
This one here?
Yeah.
This is called the gizmo. So it's right here. So if I hover over this, if you just hit W, just like you do in Maya, if you hit W on the keyboard, it brings up the move tool, but it also has scale and rotate in here. So you can rotate and scale as well.
For me, when I click W, it just puts like a line across the screen.
Oh, you are probably in this one right here. So if this is turned off, what you're going to get is this here. This is the this is called the transpose tool, where you can start doing this, and then once this is here, you can start manipulating it as well. But for blocking out something like this, usually I don't use this transpose tool, which here's the on and off right here. See how this will toggle between the two of them? It's also Y is the hotkey if you don't want to do that. So just use the gizmo here, which is what this is called. It's just easier to kind of scale and move things into position.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm trying to do that, and the little circle is not coming up for me.
This right here?
Yeah.
Do you is this activated on your screen here?
Yes.
And edit, you're in edit mode.
Yes.
Make sure that you're on this, whichever one that your subtool, and you still don't see it on there.
I see the subtool, and I clicked on it.
And this isn't coming up.
No.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah. It says you cannot start screen share while other participant is sharing.
I think it's because I have it as one instead of multiple. I'm not sure how to get back out of that. Don't see it anymore. It happened when I first launched it. Yep. Can you just take a screenshot and upload it to Shotgun?
Yeah.
So you literally don't see this thing showing up here at all.
No.
I would almost restart because that's just like a problem with ZBrush if this is not coming up. It's not a 2018 thing, is it? Are you guys? It should
I'm
be.
on 2018 because that's the free trial
Right.
thing that the website gave me. Also, it doesn't let me like zoom out or zoom in. Like, is it different on Windows? Because I'm trying to do it the same way we did on the Mac and it's like not working.
It's the Alt key.
Yeah, Alt, and when I do that, nothing really happens. Like Alt and clicking down using the left or right key, nothing happens at all.
It sounds more like you've got a, I don't know, some kind of a functioning issue, but no, this is how you've moved in, how you maneuver in ZBrush since day one. I'm not sure about this gizmo though. I think this came out maybe in a later one. So you may only have, you have this one though, right?
No, I don't have anything. Then nothing shows up.
Okay. Do you have these buttons on the top here?
Yes.
And it's activated, but nothing shows.
Yes.
I'd almost restart
Okay.
if you're not seeing it. Okay, I just tried to launch 2018. I don't know if it's going to do it. I don't know if I actually have it installed here. So anybody else using 2018 that doesn't have this gizmo? Do you guys all have this working?
Yeah, it's working for me, so.
Okay. All right, so just kind of moving forward with this here. You just kind of need to decide the number of digits that you're going to have. So usually what I'll do is just decide on or the number of joints you're going to have down your fingers here. Okay, so starting with an index finger, I would do that, and then you can decide if you have really pronounced knuckles, then you can do each one of the knuckles as well. So doing something like this. Okay. All right, so I would do, something like this. And then I usually also try to get some kind of a pose with them so that they're not just straight like this. But you can always kind of come back and do that a little bit later with the move tool. Once you dynamesh everything together, you can use the move tool to, or the transpose tool to pose the hand a little bit. Okay, so then it's just, repeating these down here across the hand. And then also getting a thumb. So with the thumb, I'll usually not like duplicate all of these that I've created for the hands and scale down for the thumb. I'll usually just build the thumb out just because it's very different looking. So I might start with did it again here. So it's got I think it's the symmetry throwing it off. And then I might go up to here and just duplicate that. That other one just turned off, so it's right there. I'm scaling it, it's going off like that. And then the thumb is at a little bit different angle, so the joints kind of come out here a little bit more, like that. Oh, you can even do something like that. Okay. And then, so with this, just, duplicating them over. And you want to have the curvature happening on the hand right here, or the palm. Okay, like that. So you guys kind of getting the idea. It's just, it's just another kind of process of kind of working through these, but you should see a curve following the knuckles. Same curve that's happening right here on the palm should happen down here with the fingers.
Yeah, it seems pretty easy, actually.
It is pretty easy. It's just, if you have kind of unique shapes, sometimes it's easier to get that over in Maya. If it's more blocky, if it's more round like this, I think it works fine doing this approach. I tend to like fingers that are more simplified like this, where it doesn't have this second knuckle down here. So I tend to do fingers that are more like this. Maybe exaggerate the knuckle. Oops. Do something like that. Okay, so just kind of decide if you want to go more simple like this. This is more stylized. This would be more on the realistic side. Okay. And then they would just scale down as you got out to the pinky finger. And then you can also start angling them too. So let me see if we can actually grab all of them.
Carol, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you want the hands also when we block out the character for this Saturday? Do you want them to also have hands?
If you can get to it, yeah. Even if you just put, so something that you can do is grab this here, duplicate it. So you could do something where you just kind of indicate a hand, like you do something like this, even with a sphere, and then you can just kind of flatten the edges. You don't have to go through all those steps. And then do this. It's off again. You know, something that's kind of looks more like a mitt. You can do something like this, and then create like a little, you can just take a single sphere, and I should grab this one here. And something like this. So you can just do something like this to start it out with if you want to go real simple.
Okay.
Yeah, and then have the arm would tie in up here. Okay.
And then for the feet, would it be the same, generally the same thing, or would it be different?
So it depends what your foot looks like. If you have toes showing, then you're going to have to do the joints for the toes. Is that what your character has?
Yeah, mine had its feet showing. So with the you would make like the ball of the foot and then like the heel.
Yeah. So what I'll usually do is, let me see here. Grab the original sphere and hitting all these different things here. Duplicate that and usually I'll shape something that's kind of foot-like. And then shape it this way. And then it, to get the flatness on there, I will usually just take off the entire bottom using, back to here. So holding down Control Shift, depending on which trim brush you've loaded up in here. If you click here and you go to Trim or T, it'll show the different trim brushes here. So I'll use this curve one right here usually and hold down Control Shift, draw across here, and need to delete. So just delete the higher, and then come across here, and then it will flatten out the bottom for you, so then you don't have to deal with you know, getting the foot onto the floor uneven. So if your character's got the full anatomy on there, as far as like the arch and everything, this is still, I think, a better way to start than trying to just like sculpt it straight out of a sphere. Like start with something flat, and then you can always come back in and use, again, I would probably go to that brush and so I'm just actually smoothing right now. So that just kind of creates the roundness, and then using the move tool, probably a little bigger. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, getting the shape of the foot in there. And you can do this for your character's shoes too. And you're going to tie this into the lower part of the leg. Okay, and then once it's Dynameshed together, you'll be able to build up the heel right there. So this is how I would just start it, like that. And then if you have toes, it would be the same thing of duplicating the different spheres and having them come off the end. Okay, so if I had I scale it and it zooms out there. It's still doing it. I lost it. There it is. Right, so then if I had something like this, I sort of got it angled incorrectly. It should be like facing down the Z axis here, so I'm should probably rotate it. But you can get your toes started in here. And then again, kind of deciding how they're going to look, like if they're going to be kind of cartoony, or you're going to have the joints in them. And then, doing that, I'd probably put like a joint right here, so duplicate that. Yeah, something like that. Getting all of those in place and then dynameshing them together. So I don't think I took the divisions out of those. Okay, and then back in your subtools. So my stuff is kind of scattered all over here. Sort of find out. So here's my foot. And then I think that's the joint there and there. So this one probably. Start merging these down. So I'll show you guys how to merge this down. How are we doing on time here? So 11:30. All right, so I'll turn that off. Actually, I'm probably going to just get rid of that. And then starting from here, you can also merge visible. So you can turn things off and just do a merge visible, which sometimes is easier. So those two are now merged, and then I'm going to merge that one down there. Okay, so this is all together now. You can see it here as a subtool. And then this is how we're going to do our character as well too, but you can do the feet and the hand separately and then combine them to the character's body. And then once we're at this point, we can do Dynamesh. So Dynamesh is going to put them together. So I'll probably just go ahead and do it like that. I think it put them together here. So then what you can do is start using like the clay buildup tool and coming in here and should be working. Yeah, so now you can see they're together. So usually you kind of come in here and blend them a little bit, probably get some more subdivisions in here. So you may want to do a subdivision like that. I think it's actually still thinking right there. Yeah, so now you can see that I can sculpt on here. Okay. And start, building up my forms. Okay, so once we get into this place, like these are your basic forms right here that we're using for the block out. Once you get into Dynamesh and you start building up your, your secondary forms, you still want to stay on the larger side with your brush initially for just kind of like blocking areas out. So say I'm building up an area down here under the foot, I would even have a bigger brush than that. So okay. Right, and then the clay buildup also works negative. So if you want to use it to cut out some areas here to create kind of separation, you can hold down the Alt key and cut in. This. Right. And, they go through a pretty ugly stage. So don't, like right now, this looks like really blobby and like it's not going to turn into anything. And I probably could have moved these out more towards the end to have them work a little bit better. But, this transition from here, usually you want to work pretty intently on getting your proportions right here and placement good on your block out, so then you don't have issues like this if you just kind of come in here and do what I just did and sort of slap it together and it's a little off, then you're going to spend more time sculpting and digging out areas like under here that you don't really want to spend a lot of time doing. This could have been avoided if I did a little bit better placement. Okay, and then you can use your move tool to make some adjustments if that does happen. You can push things back. Okay. So is that helpful for you guys? Is anybody there?
Yes, it was
Okay.
super helpful. I
Okay.
have a question.
Uh-huh.
So if my character, she's wearing a boot, should I sculpt out like her foot, or should I just sculpt out the basics of like a boot shape already?
I would just do like a really generic foot and don't worry about the toes and stuff
Uh-huh.
because you're not going to see them, but just get the basic foot shape like what I had created here without the additional, like the joints and stuff for the toes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can start, once you get that in place, then you can start working on, like with your character.
I have another question. For the hands, so like if I sculpt one hand and it's all like detailed with the finger joints, is there a way that I would be able to like duplicate all of that without dynameshing them together?
It still requires you like to get all the subtools. Well, you can go joint by joint if you want to do that. So you can select each one of these, similar to like what I did with the arms and the legs. It's just under the Z plugin, subtool master mirror, and then merge onto the same subtool so that you can work with symmetry on.
Okay.
You can either do the whole hand. You don't have to dynamesh it. You can, you know, create a separate ZBrush project, and then, you know, export this as a tool. Like, you know, just make your hand separately or your foot separately, and then bring it into your scene. And that way you can just merge everything together. So you can do your merge visible. And then once they're, just go ahead and merge visible here. Let's see what happens. They're all gonna like go into one. Don't feel like it's doing that. Yeah, it's keeping them separate for some reason. So, oh, I've got to deal with the subdivisions on some of these. So see how it puts them all together in one tool right here, subtool, but you can still access them through, like here's the fingers right here. You can still access them through the poly frame and also just by clicking on them. Okay, so you can still work on them independently. Okay, so they're not welded together. Once you go into Dynamesh, then they are welded together as one mesh or one tool, and then you have to work on it more like this, where you're going into sculpting. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so even though I've merged them onto one subtool right here, I still have the ability to work with them independently through, if I turn on my poly frame right here, and if I can cycle colors here. So they took on the same color. There's a way to separate them and make them into individual polyframe colors. But usually once I'm at this point right here where I've got everything figured out, I usually don't start merging things together till I'm pretty set on the placement of everything and the scale. I don't usually rush into merging everything together until I've am ready to Dynamesh stuff and start sculpting. So sculpting is your secondary forms. I'll be covering secondary forms next week. I'll do it from the block out that I did on my character. I'll do another video where I add the hands, and I think I did the feet on her. She's got these little itty bitty feet, but I'll do her hands. And with her, she looks like she's got more stylized fingers, so I'll probably just do the two knuckles. So I'll do a video of that, and then next week we'll start talking about secondary forms, which is dynameshing and starting the actual sculpting phase. Okay.
Hey, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I also have one question about what if our character will be wearing like a heel? Do you still want us to model the feet like the blackout, like flat?
No, probably not. Like you would probably take like I would take the move tool and either angle it but I would, you know, pull up this whole back end. I would probably not do it like this at all. Like I would have done it much earlier before I started subdividing it. Like you can see how hard it is for me to move stuff now. So with this, I would probably even break it up where I did like a sphere up here. And then I can show you on, I'm gonna just clear out of that. Because I have a character that I'm doing that's wearing a boot. And see if I've got him in here. Okay, I don't think I do. Oh, let's do that. I think that was, try this one here and see what that looks like. So I think he was just, whoops, forgot to hit T. Okay, so with him, this is how I dealt with it. Like I actually did this as a separate piece here, and then this was just part of the leg, which was a sphere that I just like narrowed way down. So that's one way you can start with it. It's also nice to put a little platform in here. That is just appending a, you hit append, and you do cylinder, and it's all the way up here. So you can see this is all in individual subtools still. So this was my block out phase. So you can see what my character's hands look like. So everything is still separate on this character, each one of these. Okay. But as far as like getting a platform in there, it tends to just ground the character and helps you kind of see whether or not it's flat. So here's that. So it's just plopping in a cylinder, doing something like that. And then, whoops, snapping it. And then doing that. Okay, so I'd recommend kind of doing that as you're working through this stage here. Get your character grounded on a flat cylinder like that. Okay. So this is kind of what we're aiming for here. If you can get the fingers done too, I think it would just kind of move you further along. I did the character's nose on here initially, and then I ended up just sculpting it in later on. I ended up taking this out and sculpting it. Okay. But all of these have come from that original sphere that I showed you guys how to make, that polysphere. Okay, and then where he's at right now is and I don't have my colors in here. So I just did his, let's get a little bit better material on here. There. So actually I started painting him a little bit too. So with the pants, I did the pants in Maya and brought them in here. So I exported a low version of the mesh here, which looks like, actually let me grab this one, turn those off, turn these on. So this is just an extraction off of the character's body. So you can see it's got like a little thickness right here. But I wasn't able to sculpt on this. It was just, it was a little funky. Oops, I think I hit transparency. I think it's just because I've got multiples on right there. So some of the topology wasn't working great, so I exported this out as an OBJ through here. you can export out, take it into Maya, and then I fix the pants in Maya, and they bloom out more like this. So I just modeled some of that in there, and then my next step is to start sculpting in all the details for the pants. Okay. So if I turn that off, that's what the character looks like. And then you can see what his feet look like now, too. He's still on the same platform, and I've added more details on the boots. And his concept art is he was one of the ones I gave you guys in the drawings. It was this character right here. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful to kind of see the stages here. Any more questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say, because like I don't know if anybody's read their email, but we got that email that there's gonna be no more physical class. So
Yeah.
I guess just look up how to get a refund for your parking permits.
Oh, wow. For faculty too.
Maybe.
I'll have to see if we got one.
Wait, so there's no more class for the rest of the semester?
Yeah, no, they just canceled. They said that it's extended all the way till May 22nd. Carol, I'm in the dorms right now, and they're asking me to leave. I have to move out.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we need left that you have to show us?
Now I've kind of showed you guys plenty to keep you busy for the rest of the week and into next week. But I think kind of shooting for next week, try to have your block out done. You know, don't Dynamesh things together, because I'll probably do, you know, if you could upload them into, where's our class here?
Oh, into the Dropbox link?
Yeah, the Dropbox. I'll make one for week 10. Yeah, so just do that. So just so you know what's going on here, I'm going to be putting the Zoom recordings here, so they'll be just in order as we do them. Here's the weekly Dropbox for work in progress for you guys to put your work in. So I'll have a week 10 one showing up here for your blockouts, and I'll probably start indicating what to put in here, like blockouts, and then secondary forms would be for week 11. And the secondary forms is pretty intense. Like that's when you first start sculpting and getting into the tools and the definition on your character. So that might actually like spill over into week 12 as well, 11, 12.
I have one more question for the what you want us to turn in. Do you want it to be the ZBrush file, or do you just want the image, like a screenshot?
It's better if you upload the image, so that way I can actually take it and bring it into ZBrush and do a sculpt over on it, or move things around and kind of show you, you know, give you guidance that way and feedback. So instead of, I think you guys are used to doing this, you know, saving your documents and stuff. So that creates a huge file. So what you can do is just do a save as over here under tools, and it will save out as a .ztl, and it will save everything under the subtools that you have here. So your whole blockout will be saved. So this is a subtool, or this is a Z tool right here, but it brings in all of my subtools. Okay. Right, any final questions?
Professor, I still have problem downloading my ZBrush. So is there any way I could talk to you after class, or?
Yes. So yeah, we can address that after class as
Okay.
a technical issue. Anybody else? Okay, so I guess that's it for today. And you can also start, stay active out on Shotgun. And if you have any questions, just post them on there or email me. And I'll see you guys here on Monday.
Thank you.
All right.